Hello everyone, in this video we're going to go over the Book B, Unit 4 Vocabulary Words, numbers 1 through 30. Let's get started. Our first word is Alaska. Alaska is a noun and it is a state of the United States on the northwestern coast of North America. So Alaska is actually a place. If you look on the map, right here is Alaska. It is part of the United States, but it is more towards the north. And here is what Alaska looks like. It's a very, very cold place. Our next word is amaze. Amaze is a verb and it means to surprise very much. For example, the large size of the fish amazed everyone. If you look at the picture, it looks like the children are amazed by something that they see on the video, or this girl here is amazed by the science experiment in front of her. Our next word is answer. Answer is a noun, and answer is the solution to a problem. Let's look at the example sentence. You will find the right answer if you think about it. Or, the teacher said my answers on the tests were all correct. In this picture here, it looks like they are playing a game, and this person in the middle, maybe she has the correct answer. So she raised her hand. That is answer. Our next word is appear. Appear is a verb and it means to begin to be seen. When you see something, it's not the same as appear. With appear, you didn't see it before, but now you can see it. For example, first we have the lamp, and then suddenly the genie comes out of the lamp, so we can say the genie appeared. Or here we have a magician's hat and there's nothing inside, but suddenly this rabbit appeared. That is appeared. And of course the opposite of appear is disappear. Our next word is arrive. Arrive is a verb and it means to come to or reach a certain place. So if you look at the picture, the boy arrived at the school. He came to the school, now he is there, so he arrived. This airplane too, the airplane arrived at the airport. It came to that place. Let's look at the example. The children are hungry when they arrive home after school. When they get home after school, they are hungry. And the opposite of arrive would be depart. Depart. The plane is departing, or the bus is departing. Arrive and depart. Our next word is awesome. Awesome is an adjective, and it is something that is very impressive or excellent. For example, the wizard had awesome power. If we look at the pictures here, there is a game that everyone is playing, and I think it looks very awesome. It's a little bit amazing. Here too, this is a bed, but it looks like a hamburger. I think it looks awesome. When people think something is awesome, they might say something like, wow, that's awesome. Do you agree that this hamburger bed is awesome? Our next word is barely. Barely is an adverb and it means almost not at all. For example, please speak louder. I can barely hear you. If you look at the picture, the man is having a hard time hearing what you're saying. In that case, he can say, I can barely hear you. Or, if you look at this bottom picture, this person looks very happy running and it looks like it's easy, but this woman here is having a very difficult time So she can say, I can barely run, or I can barely follow. She can't really do it as well as the first girl. Our next word is break. Break is a noun and it is a time when something stops. We have break times at school. First you have one class and then you take a 5-minute break. So let's look at the example. We took a break from our work to eat lunch. In the picture too, the two women are taking a break to have some coffee. Another word that's similar to break is pause. We can use pause when we're watching a video or a movie and you want it to stop for a moment. You can say pause. Pause the video or pause the movie. Break is better for people. People take a break. Our next word is clear. Clear is an adjective and it's used to describe the sky when there are no clouds or when there is little pollution or dust. Clear is not only for the sky. We can also use clear to talk about something like a window. You can see through the clear window. But it also does mean when the sky looks like this. There's no clouds, it's nice and blue, it's a sunny day. So we can say the weather is clear or it is a clear day. Disappear, the opposite of appear. Disappear means to be no longer seen. For example, the plane disappeared in the clouds. In the picture here, this person is disappearing. Later, you will not be able to see her anymore. Or this number in the sand, when the water comes, this number will disappear. The water will wash it away. Enormous. Enormous is an adjective and it means very large in size or amount, huge. For example, this cow is very enormous. It is huge. Or this boy is wearing an enormous hat. Instead of saying the word big, you can use enormous or you can use any of these synonyms. You can say gigantic, huge, immense, mammoth, tremendous, or vast. These are all great words to use instead of saying big. Our next word is enough. Enough is an adjective and it means as much or as many as needed or required. For example, I have enough money to buy this toy. My money is enough, that means I can buy it. But maybe this man here doesn't have enough money, so he feels sad. Or this man here looks tired. Maybe he did not get enough sleep, so he is tired. Another thing you can say when you are full and you don't want any more, you can say, no thank you, I had enough. I had enough cake. That means that's as much as you need and you don't need any more. Our next word is exactly. Exactly means in a correct or accurate way. For example, to make a good cake, you need to measure the flour exactly. If you don't check exactly how much you need for your cake, then it will not taste good. If you don't measure your sugar exactly, maybe it will be too sweet or not sweet enough. When you're playing this game here, the goal is to get the arrow exactly in the middle so you can get the most points. That is exactly. Number 14 is expect. Expect is a verb and it's when you feel certain of something happening. For example, we expect that the guests will be arriving around 7 o'clock. If you have a party and you tell everyone to come at 7, what time do you expect they will come? you expect everyone will come at 7. Or if you study for a test, what do you expect your grade on the test will be? Well, maybe you expect that you will get everything correct. Or if you see some dark clouds outside in the sky, what do you expect will happen? You probably expect that it will rain. That is expect. Our next word is faint. Faint is an adjective and it's used to talk about something weak or very little of something. For example, this man smells a faint smell. It's not a very strong smell, but you can still smell it. Or here on the shirt, there is a faint stain. It's not very dark, but you can still see it. Here's some examples. There is a faint smell of fish in the kitchen. The smell is not very strong, it's faint, but you can still smell a little bit of fish. Or, we heard a faint whisper. A whisper is not very loud, but you hear it because it's faint. You can still hear it. The opposite of faint is strong. Our next word is float. Float is a verb and it means to rest on the surface of a liquid without sinking. For example, the girl floated on her back in the water. Like this man is floating on his back. There are some things that will float and some things that will sink. Sink is the opposite of float. For example, this boat can float. A ball can float, a leaf can float, a duck can float, but heavy things like rocks, they do not float, they will sink. Our next word is glow. Glow is a noun, and glow is a steady light, especially light given off by something very hot. Usually things that are hot will glow. Like if you put a knife in fire, that knife will glow. Or we can use glow to talk about insects like this, or some sea animals like this that can glow at nighttime. They have some light that they give off, and it looks like they are glowing. Our next word is hope. Hope is a noun, and hope is something you feel. It's a feeling or chance that something that you want to happen will happen. For example, they have hope for a better life for their children. Or you can use hope when you really want a present for your birthday. You can say, I hope I will get that new robot. Or maybe I hope that tomorrow it will snow. You really want something to happen. Our next word is lie, and this is the verb lie when you are lying down on the floor like this. Lie means to be in or move into a flat or resting position. We can use lie by adding ing and changing it to lying. For example, she is lying on the floor. Or we can say the past tense, the family laid on the floor. Let's look at the example. I spent all morning lying in bed. Or the dog lay on the floor, sleeping. Our next word is midnight. Midnight is a noun, and midnight means that it is 12 o'clock at night. When you're looking at the clock and it looks like this is called midnight, but it's only talking about at night. If it's 12 in the afternoon, then we don't say midnight. Let's look at the example sentence. I told my son he had to be home by midnight. Do you think that midnight is a scary time? Muddy, muddy. Muddy is an adjective and it means covered with or full of mud. For example, small children love to jump in muddy puddles. These two women here are very muddy. They are covered with mud. We can also say, my shoes are muddy because it rained yesterday. This is muddy. Our next word is northern lights. Northern lights is a noun, and it's actually also called the aurora borealis. It is colored light in the night sky that happens near the North Pole. The northern lights look like this in the sky. They are very beautiful and very colorful. Let's look at an example. The best time to see the northern lights is when the skies are clearest in the winter and spring. When you're making a sentence for this, maybe you can say, the northern lights have beautiful colors, or I hope to see the northern lights one day. Remember, northern lights is a noun. Our next word is rainbow. Rainbow is a noun and it is a curved arc of light of many colors across the sky. Rainbows are caused by the sun shining through drops of water during or after a rain. Let's look at the example. After the storm, the sun came out and a rainbow appeared. Did you know there's also a story that at the end of a rainbow, maybe you can find a pot of gold? Do you think that's true or not? Our next word is rise. Rise is a verb and it means to move up in direction. For example, the airplane will rise into the sky after it takes off. When we use rise, we usually say is rising or will rise. Also, here in this picture, you can see the people are all standing up because here in the middle is a judge. And when the judge comes into the room, they say, all rise. It means everyone, please stand up. We can also use rise here. The smoke is rising out of this chimney. Or this airplane will rise. It will go up. Our next word is sip. Sip is a verb and it means to drink slowly and a little at a time. For example, the toddler sipped the juice. When you sip something like water or juice, you're not drinking it quickly. You are drinking just a little bit and then putting it down, and then drinking a little bit again later and putting it down. That is called sip. Our next word is snowstorm. Snowstorm is a noun, and it is a storm in which a lot of snow falls. Usually snowstorms also have very strong winds. For example, many schools were closed today because the snowstorm made the roads dangerous. Here's some pictures of what a snowstorm looks like. Everything is covered with snow, and the snow is usually very deep. Our next word is swirl. Swirl is a noun. A swirl is a curving shape or line. This is what a swirl looks like. It's this kind of shape. Let's look at the example. Her hair hung in swirls. Here you can see this hair, it looks like that same shape. It is a swirl. So her hair is hanging down in swirls. Or maybe this pattern on this lollipop can be called a swirl, or the pattern on the dress too can be called a swirl. We can also use the word swirl as a verb when someone is swirling, like spinning around. We can say she is swirling around. But our word is a noun, so you can describe something that has a swirl. For example, her hair had swirls, or the lollipop had a yellow and red swirl on it. Our next word is weekend. Weekend is a noun, and it is the part of a week between Friday evening and Sunday evening. Weekend is talking about Saturday and Sunday. For example, we went to my grandmother's house over the weekend. You can use it like this, over the weekend. What did you do over the weekend? Maybe you can write a sentence like this. I went to blah 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 over the weekend. Or we can also say on the weekend sometimes. Our next word is whisper. Whisper is a verb and it means to speak softly and quietly. Please whisper while the baby is sleeping. When we whisper, we usually get very close to our friends' ears and we talk in a very quiet voice. That is a whisper. And the last word is frigid. Frigid is an adjective and it means very cold or freezing. The air is frigid in February. Frigid is just another way to say cold, a better way to say cold. We can say the temperature is frigid, or it is a frigid day, or the air is frigid. And that's all for this video. We went over the Book B, Unit 4 vocabulary words, numbers 1 through 30. Thanks for listening. Bye!